goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Testing 1 2 1 2. I was fine until the music started playing. Then I start coughing, and we end up with this. Hello there. Good morning to you. Gee whiz. January's almost done. It's the 29th. And it's balmy outside. And my sister Susan's joining us because it's a Tuesday. Hi, Suze.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. So
Hot, but fine.
Yeah. Oh, how hot is it in St. Louis?
Well, it's going to be 72 today before we're laid low with tornadoes and straight line winds.
Yeah. So this is, so we're going to start having tornadoes in the winter.
Well, it's become, the last big horrific event that happened here was in January. All those terrible things that tore through Joplin, and those were all winter tornadoes.
Those were January.
Yes.
Wow.
It's becoming a thing.
Great. Well, yes, the weather is odd. We don't have quite the difference you have, but yeah, it's balmy out here today and tomorrow, and then I guess it crashes again, right? So, well, trying to think.
So the tire sensors are going to go jangle.
I don't know if that's the first car I've ever had that does that. What Susan's talking about is some of these, is it just foreign-made cars? One of the reasons we shouldn't buy them. They have these sensors that tell you if your tire pressure is down. And in the winter, because the temperature goes up and down and up and down, the sensor's going off constantly. And then you have to check, you have to reset, then bang, it goes off again. It drives me nuts. I don't want to know.
What I do is, if it's because we keep having these warming things,
right?
What I will do is, I know that the pressure is changing because it is now not 14 degrees; it's 72. So tomorrow, when it goes back down to freezing, that thing's going to go off. And it's going to go off because they deflated again. I'm going to reset it. If they don't go off again, then I'm just going to go with it. It's crazy. It detects a difference differences in ups and downs and differences in relation to each other.
Well, whatever
So
the
you
hell.
do have to keep checking them.
It's a pain in the neck. I drove
Yeah,
a car
I know,
for 50
but,
years, and I don't.
Now I
don't wanna
I'm a
know.
proud owner of my own tire pressure gauge, and I'll just.
Yeah, well, I now carry one too. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not, So if my tires are, you know what? I don't even reset. I just push that button to reset it, to shut up. And now I've got something saying there's a wrench that says like my service is due. I don't know what service they're talking about. Then there's a thing with a big that says my brake light's out. I like cars better when they didn't nag you. It's nagging.
Nag you?
Nag.
Well, hold on, because pretty soon they're going to go, boy, are you a crappy driver, and they're going to take over for you.
Well, that's true, too.
They're already doing it.
We were talking, about that, I think, this weekend, about how, cars that drive themselves are really right around the corner. There's prototypes all out there already. I was saying that I thought I was surprised to see in a parking garage in Pittsburgh this whole section that said electric car plug-in.
Cool.
Yeah, but
the more that's there, the more the
people will buy electric cars.
You have to have the infrastructure before it's practical to do it.
Well, it's like that's right. So you gotta, before we start to buy the electric cars, which we will, I guess, you've got to have these charging stations like gas stations all over the place. And your son was telling me one of the things the Israelis have come up with, and it looks like this might be the way to do it, is it'll be like you buy your car, but the battery is something that you simply, I forget.
You swap out like you would a spare battery for a phone.
Right.
For
so
an
in other words,
phone.
you would go into, you drive, it's like a, drive-through car wash. You would drive in, bango, the old batteries taken out and new ones put in, and you drive off, and I guess that is what we're going to...
Well, that makes sense. It's like, all the propane gas tanks where, you just keep swapping them out.
Wow.
I mean, somebody just has to figure out the business plan and then do it.
Well, and is that private enterprise that starts sticking those things up, or is that government?
So.
It's private. It's the auto companies that should do it.
Well, but auto companies, that would be nice. It would be even nicer if some entrepreneur separate from the auto companies figured it out.
But whoever does it has to get ahead of the sale of the car. It's a
chicken egg. It is a chicken egg, which is the argument for the manufacturers to be the first ones out there.
Well, it will happen. Now, in terms of environmental stuff, the creation of batteries is it every bit as bad for the environment?
Well, it's problematic. There's a huge recyclable issues. They're just filled with all sorts of...
Yeah, true. Man.
Nothing's easy.
No.
It's all a bargain.
It's almost like you should take pictures every year of sort of the basics of your life. Like, here am I on the telephone in 2013. Here am I in my car. Here is the gas station. Here is the parking garage. Here is the parking meter. Because these things just disappear.
No, the changes that used to take decades are now taking months.
Well, and I often said that if you think of the space between when humanity figured out how to grow crops, so the agricultural age, and when they stopped being nomadic and hunters and gatherers instead sat in one place and grew crops, and how long that lasted until the industrial age, And that transition happened incredibly quickly in relation to the one before it. And yet now from the industrial age, we lived through the industrial age transition into the technological age. And now, you're right, the technological age is creating change at such a rapid pace that I think the individual human just struggles to stay atop this wave of change. And that obviously governments, institutions, legal systems, all of that also struggle. We're always behind now. And the pace of the change is only getting faster and faster and faster. And I just think that sort of like feeling that the ground is always shifting under your feet is the reason for that breeds a lot of the, insecurity and fear and angst and anxiety and stress that people feel, which, then gets displaced into other places. I don't know, but I don't think the human animal has ever been asked to change and learn with this kind of constancy, bang, 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 bang. Seriously.
Well, it's one of the things that we've learned.
What? How to change?
To accept change.
Well, you think we've learned to accept it?
We're doing pretty good.
I mean, accept it I still know people who are like maybe just in their 50s or 60s who will say, I don't have a computer and I won't get one. And I'm thinking, well, so what? You're just opting out of living in the...
Yeah, you can't do that.
I don't think you should do it, but people are doing it. Do they have any idea that they're consigning themselves to living, I don't know, an anachronistic lifestyle that is comfortable to them, but everybody else is going someplace else?
But they're out of it. They aren't. They're on a different path than everybody else.
Well, I mean, they might want it that way if they see. I don't like the rapidity of the change. I don't like the fact that, I really don't understand a lot anymore of what's going on in the gizmos. You're better at this than me. You just do, I don't even understand the language all the time.
Yeah. And it's not necessary to latch on to each new thing. You can, instead, you don't have to take little steps all the time. You can just go, that new stuff looks sort of interesting. I'll try that. Well, I don't use all the different kinds of social media. They irritate me.
Right. But here's what...
I can monitor things without really being a part of them, and I can know what they are and stay vaguely abreast without joining in. You know what I mean?
Yes, but I also... Why don't they have... You know how people now, you'll say, and what do you do for a living? And they'll say something like, I'm a life coach. And what the holy hell is that? Okay, so if people
That's someone that actually figured out a way to get paid for telling you what to do with absolutely no credentials for doing so.
That's right. So that's fantastic. Good for anybody with a chutzpah.
That was what was previously called chutzpah.
Chutzpah, right. So I don't know that there aren't, why wouldn't people be a modernity coach or a technological coach where somebody on a one-on-one basis would come and very slowly, like almost in tutoring sessions, help older people like me get comfortable with the constant change so that I understand my gizmos and I learn the language. Why aren't there people like that? Where is that job?
Well, there are people like that.
Where? What do they call themselves?
If you're having trouble with, like that Apple company stuff, all you have to do is go to any one of their nonstop classes or make an appointment with one of their people, and that's exactly what they do. They sit down and they teach you. It is there. Here's the question. Why do you complain about it without looking around to see if it exists?
Why do I complain about it without ever having even opened the instruction manual?
Right. It's not about it's not about anything other than your actual lack of interest. What you want your phone to do is ring.
Right.
And, to the extent that you find texting useful, you'll do that.
And I do now. That texting, I think, is wonderful.
And that's and to the extent that you learned that, for example, the new Google Maps app turns your telephone into a talking GPS, so it saves you buying a whole device. That's very nice, too.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just download that one, and that's all you have to do.
Okay. Well, it helps to live with a young person.
It does. But, that's not just about technology.
A patient young person.
And for that, I point out our mother, who has lost, by virtue of her age, just about all of her own contemporaries, and whose friends get increasingly younger. It serves multiple purposes, but one of them is to keep her current.
That's true. If I'm befuddled, I only imagine where she's at. Jeez, God almighty.
Well, she keeps saying that she can't learn anything new, but
she does.
She doesn't go away for a month without taking her computer, so apparently she does.
And even though she feels like she's not comfortable, she uses the cell phone, and yeah.
She learned to do that which she wanted to do. The rest of it doesn't interest her.
Well, I was surprised the other day. I was talking to her on the phone, and I said, "What flight are you on when you're coming to Pittsburgh?" And she said, "Oh, just a minute. I'll go get." I'm assuming she's padding around over to her desk to find the piece of paper. All of a sudden, she's saying, "Okay, now wait. I'm just signing in. I'm going to get..." And she's on her computer. She went to get the information on her computer, which I think is pretty cool for a 90-year-old.
Well, it's because she kept losing these pieces of paper. I said, "Mom, just check your email. It's always there. You can even flag it, and so you can go right to it."
Okay.
And so, again, it's something that she's interested in knowing. It's helpful to her, so she uses it. Therefore, she learns it, because that's how we all learn, through repetition. So if none of us, I think that one of the ways that we're changing is to learn how to filter in a different way. Our brains have always filtered what's important or not important. Now we're filtering a whole different thing. What is it that we need to know in order to advance without cluttering ourselves up with extra stuff that we don't really need and is not of interest to us? So there you go.
So I just had an image of us, like how you used to see somebody with a machete slashing through the jungle.
Hacking through all this, so that's right.
Hacking through the jungle. So it's like it's the equivalent of that, and getting through all this and knowing what it is, what you want, and then you get. Well, I see why people get overwhelmed, but man, we better, as I'm saying, the pace of change right now will appear to be leisurely in another 20 years, even 10, because it's just going to be like you'll wake up every day in a new world.
So if one of the things that you can't train your brain to do is accept change, you're in deep doo-doo.
That is true. But I think the human animal, this is something that's evolutionary in some respects, because things didn't change for most of human history. For 99% of human history, things didn't change quickly.
Well, but,
it was not a needed adaptive trait to be able to just keep turning on a dime. And yeah, okay.
But it probably went from we can live with this to catastrophic fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people that survived were the people whose brains could
adjust.
Accept change.
We've got a caller. Hello?
Hello, Lynn.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Lynn. Hello, Susan. It's Ray.
Hey.
Hi, Ray.
How are you?
We're fine. I'll speak for Susan. We're fine.
That's great. Tell Jess I said Chihut Kehiltu.
Oh, my God. Jess, did you understand that?
Kind of.
Kind of.
It's been a while.
That was Irish?
Yeah.
Gaelic?
Irish, yeah.
That was Irish.
Yeah.
Okay, Irish.
That's Irish, yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple little dialects of it, but that's what I know of it.
Okay.
That's what I would say. And Lynn, I'm calling it this whole thing about the new technology, and part of me, I'm a little anxious about calling on the phone, on the radio.
Well, you shouldn't be. You're fine.
You know, what's different is all the things we use so much of that we've never needed to know about, we just assume work. You don't know how your furnace works, or
Right. Or my
toilet
car, for that
maybe, or
matter.
your
Right.
sewing machine motor.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's true.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. Do you hear me? Ray, we lost him.
Yeah.
Well, what was that about? Okay, because he's such a smart cookie. I wish he'd call back.
Well, tell him to call back. Tell him to get someplace where he's got better reception and call back.
Okay, Ray, if you heard that, get better reception and call back, because I'd love to talk to you about that. Especially somebody as acutely intelligent as I know you to be.
Right, because as we all know, I'm just sitting over here BSing.
Right. Susan is a real BSer, but a damn fine one. Yeah. You could have gotten a BS in BSing. You could have gotten a 4-year degree in 2 seconds. Okay. Well, all right. This is a subject that
He's calling back.
he is calling back. Someone's calling. Okay, let's take. All right, here we try again. Hello? Go ahead. Ray?
Hello, it's Ray again.
Okay, let's try it again. Go ahead. What's your point?
Well, just as an observation, it's really hard to hear you, but I'll press on.
Okay.
My point is that I think a part of the difference is when you would call some technician to come and fix your furnace or your toilet or your motor, no one made you feel stupid and antiquated for not knowing these things. But so much of the new technology, there's almost a coveted satisfaction with making other people feel outside the realm of knowledge. And I've gone to school and been taught by computer people who, in the beginning, would tell us you don't need to know these things. Just if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you talk to somebody who knows how to fix it. And that's it. It's just I'm amazed at the need to know things that have no value to the use of them.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
Yes. Are you hearing me okay now?
Pardon me?
Can you? I guess not.
No.
Are you can't hear me very well. Damn it. All right. Ray.
I'm terribly sorry.
That's okay.
I cannot hear you, and I won't. I won't
right.
eat up the time of the great show with this. Maybe I'll do it in an email. Thank you
All
both.
right.
Okay.
Write an email. Okay.
All right.
But no, I forgot my thought.
Well, he was talking about how you're made to feel stupid for not knowing, and when in fact you're cluttering your brain with all sorts of stuff that you don't need to know.
Right.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. That one of the things that we have to adapt to is letting our brain be an appropriate filter, so that we're only using that which benefits us.
But here's the thing.
There are, for example, Facebook. There are reasons to be on Facebook. There are more reasons not to be on Facebook. But if you've got a large family that's got new babies and you want to share pictures, for example, that's one of the nice ways to do it. Although there are other ways. And there are other far more private ways.
I think that part of the problem, too, is that the people who make the gizmos, like the phones, whatever, are forever making them more that only a very few people could want to use all the aspects that they put in, which then complicates the sense of the the tool. You know, as you said, I just want to know how to answer the phone, how to do this, how to do that. But instead, there's these million other things, and I guess I just think...
Well, it's partly how they make their money, but I mean, but they end up, improving themselves, right out of, it's not necessarily my comfort zone. They just don't, they cease to make them better. They just make them different.
They make them more complicated.
Right, and I mean, I'll use Apple again as an example. They just did with the newest upgrade. The way the picture comes up, the way the screen shows your internet and where you're going on your internet is totally different. The Google box has disappeared. You just type in what was previously the address, but in certain screens the address does not exist, and you have to know to go up to a corner to drop down the menu and blah, 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 blah. All of which used to be there in plain view and easily negotiated before they, for no good reason, decided that
they would change it.
Better for me. It's not better for me.
Right. But that's it. But that's what this constant change that you don't have control.
And it's not an upgrade.
Yeah, that you don't have control over. Okay, I tell you what, I want to get a break in, and when we come back, I want to talk about change of a different kind, and it's change that is happening too quickly for some and not quickly enough for others, and that has to do with social change, which since the re-election of Barack Obama seems to be happening on a lot of fronts in a manner. Yes, in a manner that makes liberals like us very, very happy. We'll be right back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Lynn Cullen Live and Panera Bread celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
On January 31st, 1968, sanitation workers in Memphis were sent home because of rain. Black workers received 2 hours of wages, while white workers were paid for the entire day. The Black Union called for an all-out work stoppage on March 28th. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. arrived in Memphis that morning to lend his support to the workers. The end was near.
Countdown to King, brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health, and Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on meals from your favorite local restaurants, museums, and shows. This week only, get discounts up to 20% on gift cards to Panera Bread. Supplies are limited. bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. bergbargains.com.
Today, My Care Navigator forwarded my medical records and freed my mind for other things.
Introducing My Care Navigator, your 24/7 healthcare co-pilot, new from Highmark.
My Care Navigator found me the ideal specialist. Less work for me.
My Care Navigator makes it easier to navigate the system. Call 1-888-BLUE-428 to connect with yours today. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield is an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Okay, welcome back. I'm here with my sister Susan. And somewhere, I guess it was on Daily News Nuggets today, there was a piece about the fact that the culture wars that were such a part of our political scene, national politics, especially in all my adult life, somebody was suggesting that they're pretty much over, and that the Republicans lost.
Yeah, it wasn't just somebody. It was the head of the Romney. It was one of Romney's advisors, David, is it Kokel? Or?
I have no idea. Is he the one who said it? He
yeah,
said pretty much,
K-O-T-H-E-L.
okay, you just look at all those culture war things that were essentially the platform of the Republican Party, and check them off. They lost. They lost on gays. They're showing now they lost on immigration. Polls show they've lost on the abortion issue, even though they don't know it, and they're still fighting in every way they can access to this legal procedure. Did I say gays? Because that's the biggie. I guess I did. They've lost. And I don't know that they knew it until Obama got reelected.
Well, I think they didn't know it. I think that, I think one of the things that we absolutely do know is how surprised they were by their loss.
Right. The only one they haven't lost yet is guns. That's the one.
No, because that lunacy is surprisingly bipartisan. Because rational gun owners get caught up in the nonsense with the irrational ones. It's
Who knows? Whatever. The propaganda effort on that has been extraordinarily successful for the gun nuts. So essentially declaring the culture war is almost over. Of course, the big news today, as far as I'm concerned, is the capitulation now of the Boy Scouts. Everywhere you turn, there people are saying, "Okay, I give up." Apparently, what the Boy Scouts, the way they're going to do it is they're going to allow this chapter by chapter, so that if you belong to the Boy Scouts that meet at St. Bede's Church,
well, if your church is the sponsor and it's against, that's different.
That's right.
And you can always join a different pack. Exactly.
So.
But the fact of the matter is it's becoming unfashionable to be a hater, and that's never a bad thing.
That's right. That's what's happened. It's unfashionable to be a hater. Bigotry in any form is just not cool anymore, guys. So you see the Republicans now struggling to turn their ship around so it doesn't go totally aground. And that's why you have this bipartisan group of senators coming out with pretty good, for a first step, immigration solutions. And you see the gay rights it just keeps piling up. There was a great little feature story in the New York Times today about a tiny little village in Tennessee or Kentucky, one of those states. Which one was it? Kentucky, I think. And, a town of 335. That used to, when coal was king, have maybe 1,000 people living in it, and they had a movie theater, and they had stores and everything, and now it's just, and there's 335 people, and it's a, little hole in the wall. And here is a reporter reporting on the last meeting of the city commission. This is the mayor and the commissioners of this town of 335. Well, first of all, the commission approved the minutes from its December meeting. It hired a local construction company to repair the sewer plant, tinkered with the wording for the local curfew. Oh, and it voted to ban discrimination against anyone based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Now, this is a little teeny town in Appalachia of 300-some people, and on their order of business was to make discrimination on of gays or transgendered people or anything illegal in their little town. And this is in a county that voted against President Obama 4 out of every 5 voters. So try to get that in your head. This is as Appalachian and, red state kind of as you can get. And yet, they passed a gay rights ordinance.
Don't you think that maybe these people have accidentally found themselves knowing and loving gay people, and they're just ready to say it's wrong?
Yes, and let me tell you one of the people they know. A guy named Johnny Cummings, who owns the hair salon in town called Scissors. And Johnny Cummings is 50. His family's lived in this town for generations and generations and generations. And he was just named the mayor. And they say he spends his days hustling between his beauty parlor, often wearing a black smock adorned with hair clips, running over to what passes for the city hall. So they have a gay mayor. Everybody likes him. Everybody knows him. And there you have it.
And that's how change happens.
And that's how things happen. And it said that everyone knew he was gay when he was growing up there. And yeah, there was sometimes trouble. He got, taunted or something. But he had a little posse of kids who loved him, and they took care of him. And it says here that since he's become the mayor, he hired the city's first police officer in years, Tony Vaughn, a former detective and one of Mr. Cummings' protectors back in high school. So one of the guys who protected him from the bullies is now the only police officer.
Is the official protector from bullies.
Yeah, and here's a quote from the only police officer. "We have 5 drug dealers here, and everybody knows them. I'll ask them nicely to stop, and then I'll put them in jail." What's not to love? That's Vico, Kentucky. Vicco. Man. That's America. And it changes. That's change. And it is happening. So.
Well, and it's just that, and it's just proof that people are people everywhere.
That sounds like that's a Dr. Seuss.
Random people from anywhere.
Susan.
And you're going to get a whole bunch of different kinds of people.
Susan, I think you inadvertently just quoted Horton Hears a Who. People are people all over the world. I just know it. Horton Hears a Who.
Well, it's ingrained in me. It was one of my favorite books when I was a little girl.
Okay, so you got the culture wars. Here's another one. Oh, women in combat. I mean, come on. Think of all the stories since Obama got inaugurated for the second time. Think of all these stories. And how the country just turned around, and this country that we said was hopelessly going down the tubes because the right-wingers had gotten hold of it, is now just absolutely. This is what we're always told, that the American people will go just so far and then say, "Are you kidding?" And they'll put the brakes on and go back the other way. And I was starting to think it wouldn't happen.
I think that, and I mean, believe me, there's still plenty of people that think it's inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is women are in combat.
Exactly.
They're dying right and left. They're captured right and left.
Right.
And yes, they can be raped and terrible things can. I don't know why the fact that they can torture women is different than the fact that they can torture men.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 2 children, one of each kind. I wouldn't want to offer up my son to be tortured rather than my daughter because he's a boy.
Exactly.
I mean, I no more than I would want to offer my daughter up. If you know,
right,
but
right. I agree. I completely agree.
It's just such a false distinction.
Jeez. Well, okay. So here's the thing. I even said after they said, okay, women can be in combat, I said the one thing that I do think is a legitimate concern is that, you see these pictures of a Marine carrying a wounded brother on his back and running, through, and I'm thinking, upper body strength is something that women just don't have as much as men. And then I saw the Atlantic Monthly, I guess, put on its website something that puts the lie to that argument that, the little women can't carry the big men off the field of combat. Guess what? They can. And they do. Because there's something. And then they have all these videos showing little women picking up these huge men, slinging them over their shoulders.
Well,
and
who do you think has been manning
and running?
The hospitals at the front. Excuse me, womaning the hospitals at the front.
Right. But Susan, there's this thing, it's called, and if you see them do it, you'll recognize it's called the fireman's carry.
Carry, right.
And all you do is if you get under the leg, the arm, you pull, and then bango, you got them. You've got them, and you run. And there's all these YouTube videos, and people look at them and they say they just laugh. And this one woman said, I ran in circles while firemen carrying my 6'2" male friend on a Miami beach. And there are tons of YouTubes of women carrying men this way. That it's lift and carry, and it's apparently a tiny little woman can do it.
Well, and the other thing is that any soldier has to be able to pass certain
and you don't
physical fitness requirements. Right. If the woman can pass the ones that the men pass, then be quiet.
Yes, exactly. And you don't water down those standards. But if women can do it,
there's plenty of small men out there and big women out there. I mean, it's not necessarily a size thing. It's a physical conditioning and strength thing.
Exactly.
And a knowledge thing.
That's right. That is right. So all that is so cool. And, here's poor Tony Perkins. Tony Perkins, the president of Family Research Council. This is one of the warriors in the culture war on the losing side. And he had pretty much admitted, I think, a week or so ago that they lost. They lost everything. Everything he cared about, they've lost. And here he is responding to the Boy Scouts. If the Boy Scout board capitulates to the bullying of homosexual activists, the Boy Scouts' legacy of producing great leaders will become yet another casualty of moral compromise. Well, this is why they're losing. That statement makes no sense.
No.
It makes no sense, and it doesn't make sense to anybody. Like, what? Gay people can't be leaders? What are you talking about? Unbelievable. So...
They're stopping their retreat to turn around and yell some more nasty stuff before they keep retreating.
Well, I don't know. You can't expect... the thing is, because things go back and forth, that strain in American politics, it'll always be there. Always has been. And they will, for whatever, they'll find an issue and rise again, I'm sure.
Right. Well, I'm sure.
Yeah. We've got a caller. Hello. Hi, caller.
How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, I always find it funny, like guys like Rick Santorum and some of those that are Republican think just because they believe what they believe, everybody else should.
That's right.
It's just a small percentage of people, and they think we all should believe that. It's amazing, and he still goes on with it.
Oh.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, how in the hell do you stand sitting across from that Bill Green and that snooty attorney? Oh, my God, those people make me sick. And I remember Bill Green on John McIntyre's show. I couldn't stand him then. Can't stand him now.
Oh.
Have a good day.
Yeah. The thing, though, about sitting across from people on a weekly basis like that, he's talking about
you find out that
they're human.
Their opinions are perfectly nice people.
Yeah, right. That's on that show, 4802 on Friday nights on WQED. But that's right. This is why it's important to sit down with, quote, the enemy, end quote, the people you don't agree with, because you do establish a relationship. Hi, how are you? If they've been ill, if their mother's sick, if their kid is this, and you have a human relationship with them. And what's funny about that show is we'll be laughing and talking before it, and then the show starts, and there's times when Bill and I are looking at each other, and like, I know my teeth are clenched, I'm screaming. He's looking at me. Oh, don't be cute, he said the other day. Don't be so cute. And And I'm thinking, geez, Bill. And then the show's over and we're laughing again. And I'm not good at that. I mean, that's very hard for me, actually. I don't like those kinds of programs. But yeah, their politics, yike. Although you can see there have been more and more areas of agreement. You'd be surprised. I mean, he's not like a real right-winger. He is not. He's one of the Republicans who gets that the party has gone astray. So, whatever. I don't know. It can't... Even Sean Hannity, I understand, has said that his views on immigration, and he borrowed this from Obama, have evolved.
Okay, that's where I draw the line. I don't care.
But
there are certain people that I can choose. Nah, I don't want to find out how human you are.
Right, but here's the thing. He's talking to an audience that takes what he's telling them, like Russia's audience often do, as gospel. Right. So if he's saying, then he, whether you like it or not, will help again move.
He's turning the ship, right.
So this is good. Henry writes, I can't help it. I'm loving what I see happening to the Republican Party right now. What do you mean you can't help it? Of course you can't help it, Henry. Enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
Schadenfreude is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, right. Screw them. I mean, right. And here he goes. He's talking about one of the local talk radio nutcases here. I heard Jim Quinn recently beating up on John Boehner. Fox just fired Sarah Palin because supposedly she doesn't convey the new conservative image. The House Republicans find themselves in a position of compromise because so many are up for re-election in less than 2 years. Michael Steele, former chair of the RNC, has been highly critical of the party since the election. And then you have Bobby Jindal calling the GOP the stupid party. I can't recall.
Well, and Fox News is desperately, they were just outed as the propaganda wing, because everything they said was wrong, and then was demonstrably wrong. So if they don't remake their image somehow, at least 3 people will leave.
Well, do they think remaking their image is kicking Sarah Palin off their air?
Yeah, of course. They're the kinder, gentler Fox.
I wonder.
Now they're really balanced.
I wonder how she'll resurface. And in what guise?
She's like that. She's like the thing that you hit on the head, the chipmunk.
The whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. She'll keep popping back up. But yeah, she had her big moment, and I think it's gone. Anyway, Henry asks, I can't recall, did the Democrats fall apart like this after Bush won his second election? I remember falling into a deep despond. I remember being depressed as hell, and I suppose we turn on each other by saying things like, well, Kerry was an awful candidate, and he was, and it's because we weren't really true to our own progressive ideas, and we too, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, there's finger pointing and recrimination. Caller, hi, hello.
Hi, Lynn, it's Marge. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Marge.
The thing that I am questioning about the immigration bill, which of course is wonderful, but when the Republicans are standing there and they're saying, we need this group of people, do they need that group of people for their votes, or do they really care about their issues?
Oh, their votes.
Yeah, duh. They need their votes or they're going to be gone. And they need them to mow their lawns.
Yeah, but now over the next 4 years, and we keep saying 4 years, it's going to be 2.5 years, really.
Oh, no, it'll be one. Oh, yeah, 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm just wondering. When the immigrants hear this, that they're saying, well, do they want me because they care about me or because they saw the stats and saw we're not with them anymore? I'll let you go because I know I bet you got to get a break soon.
Thank you. And you know what? John McCain, I just happened to hear a soundbite from him from yesterday when he was just absolutely open about that. We can't win without them. They want their votes. So they've decided we better make nice with them instead of demonizing them.
If by wanting that, if they're willing to give them a lot, and this is when you start educating an electorate that yes, we have power. It's when Texas stops being a Republican state,
right?
Because all of a sudden, all of those non-voting people down there will see they've got power.
Yeah, apparently, demographers are looking at that and saying it could well be that big hunk of red state called Texas is going to be a big hunk of blue state in not too long a period.
At least it's teetering. It's becoming swingy.
Love it. Gotta love it. Michael writes, Republicans are a dying elephant. I say do not resuscitate. Yeah. Do they have a DNR? That'd be great. Let him go. Let him go. Okay. It was the last caller who I believe said what I need to hear every once in a while.
Yeah, she did an intro for you. Take it.
All right. I thank the caller. Marge, I'm taking a break.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
I didn't know about chronic obstructive pulmonary disease until I took the wheel and lent my support to Drive for COPD. Help Americans take action against this leading cause of death by logging on to driveforcopd.org to learn more. I'm Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, and I drive for COPD.
Pittsburgh City Paper is available now. Pick up one today for Mozart, Joy Ike, Mark Eddy, Black Veil Brides, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Now it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
The sun's coming out. The fog is burning off. It's a glorious spring-like day. It's January 29th. Oh, dang it. Oh, Susan, I know what I wanted to ask you. So you live in one of these states that went hook, line, and sinker for Tea Party politics, culture war politics. You live in the congressional district that was Ted Aiken, women's bodies can, whatever. What did he say? Todd Aiken. What did he say? That women have a way of stopping, if they get raped.
Why, yes. He was my representative for 12 years.
Okay, but you have one of those states that is totally, almost, overtaken by this mentality. How does this, change in what the Republican Party is going to try to do? How do you think that will have an impact on what happens in Missouri?
Nothing. If you want to know what is happening in Missouri, the governor, who is a Democrat, is overwhelmed by his total Yahoo. I think there's maybe 52 Democrats and 200 and some Republicans in the state house.
Wow.
And so, but he's got a very robust, adventurous agenda for his second term. But that's because someone's thinking that he might run for president, which I think is hysterical.
How did he get elected, though, as a Democrat?
The State House is responding by introducing bills that elementary students be allowed to carry guns.
Wait. Elementary school students, grade school kids should carry guns?
Oh, yeah, and we're going to change, concealed carry. They've just gone, okay, really? Well, we're going 5 steps further right. We still aren't setting up medical, we aren't doing anything for Obamacare. We've, ugh.
Well, okay. Geez. Well, how did you elect a Democratic governor?
Because it's like everything else. It's statewide. And there are a lot of very conservative Democrats that will vote for that look like Republicans everywhere else. But he
figured out how to win.
Time, his whole adult life in state government, and I think they thought he deserved it.
All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's been such a concerted effort for decades to dumb down a lot of Americans, and that's been coming from
Well, it could be that his last name
radio.
is Nixon, and they just thought he was a Republican.
Okay, the one story, there was a lot of good news stories. I mean, there's a lot of horror stories, of course, in the news. If you bother looking at international news, good God. But the story that broke my heart, and I cannot bear looking at any more pictures of it, is the little monkey that those Iranians sent up into space.
Oh.
Did you see a picture of it?
No, I won't look.
Oh, no! How did you avoid it? Everywhere I look, I see this poor little monkey, and he's staring. He's got a look on his face like, what the holy hell is happening to me? And they've got him, like, strapped in, and he's got like, foam around his head. And those damn Iranians, they shot him up in the rocket, and then he came back down. They said he lived through it. But I suppose, what do they do now? They're probably going to kill him and dissect him or something. Oh, dear. You didn't see that picture?
No. Thanks a lot.
Oh. Well, they're doing it because they want to they want to have manned space flights.
Right.
Here are the Iranians. Well, don't they have something better to do?
I don't know. Don't they know the way to do it is to straddle the rocket and go?
What? Iran. Do you say Iran or Iran?
I think I say Iran.
I think I say Iran, too. Iran, in recent years, has said it has launched a mouse, it has launched a turtle, and it has launched a number of worms. Launching the monkey was that's as close as they've gotten now to launching some poor human. But you look at this little monkey. And this is when the U.S. is going to stop testing on all those chimpanzees
right.
and letting them go.
They've finally figured it out.
Oh, God.
They finally admitted that they've been torturing
our cousins.
beings.
Yeah. Oh, dear. I can't believe you didn't see a monkey picture. I swear, in every paper I opened today.
No, I've been staring at the rather handsome portrait of your two cats.
Oh, yeah. Aren't they? Don't they look beautiful? And I don't think they are. Isn't that now? I think they are.
Yeah, they are.
They were such scruffy things when I took them, and my God, they're looking handsome, aren't they? Very beautiful pictures, really. There's a picture of Susan in a Fargo hat, which we just got to post on our Facebook page. Do you think?
Yeah, we can.
Susan?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
I don't. But anyway, I think it's just like a joke that the best picture I've taken in years, I'm wearing that hat.
You're wearing that hat. Yeah, you look wonderful. And you did when we were sitting at a restaurant here in Pittsburgh when it was taken this weekend, and I could see that you just looked wonderful. You look radiant, and there it is, the picture, wearing that goofy hat. So, well, let's see. I can't believe it. There's 4 minutes left, and
I know. We're just fat and happy.
Well, God knows that's true. Those are two adjectives that do apply in my case. Yes, fat and happy. But I think I think I've run out of subjects. What else is happening?
Oh well, I would like to give. I suppose, and I thought it was very funny that our brother, who was also in town,
yes,
liked the food so much at your house.
What, that he ate it before anyone else could?
Well, first of all, that he just plowed through the kitchen, and as a result, I had to make myself lamb chops last night. But anyway, he was offering to write a review, to write a recommendation, and I was thinking to myself, yes, from the author of Disgust.
Yeah, I'm sure, yes, yeah, right. Any chef would love the author of Disgust to say, this was a wondrous meal. Oh, my.
And I do think he was regaling people with stories of pus all night.
Yeah, somebody said, every time I walk by, Bill's saying pus. Well, all right. Well, there you go. All righty.
The three of us, we all have our unique personalities.
Yeah. Well, do you know? Somebody sent me a birthday card, and it's Mr. Rogers. It's got Fred Rogers. You know, you push a button, and he says something, one of his wonderful things to you. And I listened to it last night. First of all, it's so nice to hear his voice, and it says, "There is no one exactly like you. There never has been. There never will be. You are unique. You are special. You are," and it's in this, and you hear, and it's coming, and he's right, and it makes you feel so good. It does. Everyone, it's true. Not a one of us will ever
be duplicated.
Not. Isn't that something? And that's not true of snowflakes. Do you know that's a myth?
Yeah, they figure, there's got to be several that
There's
look alike.
repetition in the snowflakes. There is, I was stunned when I saw that recently, but not in us. All the billions and billions of people who have been on this earth, there's not one that is like you. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Some might come close, but there is not any like you. All right. Well, I think that's that. You gonna go sunbathing today, Suze? You gonna?
No, I'm gonna torture myself at the gym in about.
Good for you. Way to go. Actually, I am too. Okay. Well, Suze, thank you. It was a good conversation today. Appreciate it. It was wonderful seeing you. Bye. And, okay, you guys, tomorrow, Chris Potter, I believe. And enjoy this, this respite from winter.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.